question.
Oh, here we go.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation, I hate the Xbox controller.
Yes.
I can't do it. I like the GameCube and the PlayStation, but Xbox, I throw it a window.
Okay. Favorite game moment ever?
A sports game or any game? Like
Any game.
Any game? Oh my god. For me or that I've seen? I used to play... I played World of Warcraft religiously, and I used to be the most garbage player of life. And when I was really crappy, I was doing a 2v2 with one of my friends, and I just jumped and I died in the first 10 seconds. And this guy that I played with was the quietest, nerdy guy you'll ever meet. And he 2v1'd them, and I've never heard him scream as loud as he ever did that one time. I've never heard it again. That was the best time I've ever had playing any video game, that one moment. That was amazing. The nerd scream, pretty much. But there was a lot of swearing involved, so I can't, it was beautiful. Yeah, and then followed by a lot of F's and A's. Yeah, the F's. Used to be, not anymore. I'm all right now.
Okay. When it comes to what you see as, I mean, you've been doing this for a while.
Just a little over a year.
Yeah. And with everything you've seen in the line of costuming and everything else.
Yes.
Do you think that it's actually that people get obsessed about the character, about the cosplay, a little bit more in the line of both, or what that makes them such elitists on they have to perfect it?
That's a really good question. I think for me in the beginning, I really like the character. So I usually will do characters that no one has done before because I think the side characters deserve like a little bit of a spotlight. And for some reason, I never liked main characters that much. So for example, like Koga, I used to watch Inuyasha religiously. And that was my favorite anime ever. Koga was my favorite character. And I think when you're attached to a character and you start making that cosplay and you have that, connection with it, it gets like 10 times better because you're putting on like the costume that, the character you've seen on TV for 5 years, you become them, and it's like an energy or something. It's something about it. So I think it's kind of like a partnership. I think maybe some people do a character that they like the design or some popular character for whatever reason, but there's some kind of connection with the character I think that everyone has, whether it be like aesthetics, whether it be some kind of personal connection. So I think it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely fun to make the costume as well. So it's a little bit of a partnership between both.
Do you think that when it comes to cosplay, that people understand it that are not technically a part of it? Like you see so many of them that are not cosplaying at all, and you get those looks.
Yes.
Questionable, whatever.
Yes.
They don't really recognize your character, or they don't recognize you
yes.
in general. And do you think that it's one of those situations where they don't understand it, don't want to do it, or the negativity around it?
I think we all have like the cultural norm where like this hobby is considered, okay. Like, I can go work on my car, I can go, do whatever else. But then it's a little taboo when you come to cosplay because for me, myself, I didn't cosplay until last year. And my first anime convention was 2010. I had actually no idea what cosplay was. So when I went there, I was like, holy crap, like I've never seen it before. And I actually did think it was a little strange because I'm like, there's people walking around as Naruto. There's like Inuyasha walking around, like, do they think the character, it wasn't weird, but I just didn't know what it was. So 2011, I went back because I was like, you know what, I'd never really kind of threw myself into it. I never really tried to understand what it was. And I went back that year, I'm like, holy crap, there's like a buzz when you go to conventions. It's like energy. Like you can go 12 hours a day without eating and you're good. And nowhere else you can do that. You go to work for like 3 hours a day, you're dead. But here you can go all day, and there's something, for me anyway, I feed off the energy of other people. So when I see people like, really excited and all that, I'm like, holy crap, like you feel their passion, and you really can. So I think after I saw that was when I actually really wanted to start looking into what is cosplay. And that's when I started doing Koga. I'm like, maybe it's going to be a one-time thing, maybe it's not, and I friggin' loved it. So I think when you're on the outside, it depends on the person, because there's going to be some people who immediately say, that's really weird. Because I've got a lot of people saying, it's cool. And then there's some people saying, why do you do that? You're wasting your time. You could be doing other things. But I mean, if I spend $200-300 on a costume making it, who's to tell me what to do if they're spending $200 to $300 on their car, $200 to $300, whatever hobby they have, like making model airplanes, whatever. So I think it's getting a little more mainstream now. It's becoming a little more socially acceptable. But I don't know. I think it's really cool. The people that come to the conventions don't really care about all that stuff for the most part. And I think that's why it's really important to understand what you're judging first, because I had no idea what it was, and then when I got into it, look at me now. So definitely need to get to know what you're talking about. There's a lot of assumptions about what cosplay is, and it's...
Now you know that when you come to a con, you're going to have people that know who you are, that are friends of yours that you meet constantly.
Yes.
But then you get that whole recognition from people that you have no idea who they are. How do you respond to that now that you're just now getting into your life?
I think I worked in customer service for like 7 years, so I deal with people all the time. Usually I'm like pretty shy, so I think when I'm cosplaying, it kind of brings out a new side of me as well. I'm never really one to go up to someone all the time, but here it's like people coming up to you and you have to like be nice, and it's cool because you never get that outside of the convention. Like I'm just a normal like potato outside, but then when you're here, it's a whole different story. It definitely, it wasn't strange to me, but I mean, nothing makes me special that another cosplayer, like, we're all the same, we're all doing the same hobby. It's nothing that sets me apart from someone else who's doing something else. So it was a little weird in the beginning to have people recognize who I was. I have my Facebook page and Instagram, but it's, whatever. But I mean, yeah, it's weird to get used to. I don't think I'll ever get used to it, to be honest, but it's cool though, because I mean, I'm really humbled by the amount of people that know who I am, because I'm just another, fish in the sea. Like, we're all just doing what we like to do, and for people to spend time with me is really cool.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
I got a few. Considering the fact that even though you're still, you don't have the years that some of the other cosplay, not almost cosplay idols have, but you've been doing it for a little while. Is there any particular tips you have for people who are like, literally, I'm going to start my first cosplay today? You have any kind of like for that?
There's a whole bunch of things I could say, because it's nice that I didn't start that long ago, that I kind of know what it was like to start. First thing, I would always pick a character that you love. If it's your first cosplay, do a character that you really connect with, because I think that kind of sets the bar with what the feeling is when you start to do it. If I didn't cosplay Koga, I probably wouldn't have had as much fun. Even if it wasn't as recognizable as if I did a main character from something, it meant a lot to me, and I think that really drove me to want to do more things that I really like to do. The other thing is that it's a really expensive hobby if you're not careful. So the first couple of costumes I made, we all work full time, and I was a little stupid with money, and I was really into it because I'm like, I love it so much. I don't care what it costs. Money kind of adds up on itself, even if it's little small things. So what I do now is I'll pick the costume I want to make, and I'll write a very detailed list of what exactly I'm gonna buy. And if you go off that list, you have to take something else out, because you can just keep adding and adding and adding, and you're living on the street soon. So definitely make a list and just network, because I think a lot of people that go to conventions are really shy, and I was the same way. I didn't really want to be in the spotlight. I just kind of walked around my first convention. I'm like, okay, maybe someone will know who I am. But I've made so many friends doing this. Like, I had a handful of real life friends before, and now I can't even count how many I have. And it's the best decision I've ever made. And it's ridiculous that a little hobby like this can change your whole lifestyle. And it's brought me here. Who's to say what you can get when you follow a passion, right? So definitely make a lot of friends, because you never know who your gatekeeper is going to be. And I met Tina, and Tina messaged me to come here. And if you're not talking with a lot of people, you never know what could happen. Definitely network. Ask for help.
I know that when it came to me getting that first notification of "We want you,"
yeah, yes, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that was a surreal moment. You always in the back of your head, you're like, that would be really cool if someone really wanted us to come down. And when that message came, I had to read it a couple of times, and I was sitting in my chair it's almost like it's surreal. You never think it would happen to you, and I think I just got really lucky. So it's yeah, you'll never use it. Yeah.
I know one aspect of cosplay that everyone knows is the costume itself,
Yes.
the actual costume. Can you talk a little bit about the voice and the mannerisms and the psyche of the character that you cosplay and how you present that?
I think for me, there's a lot of cosplayers who make the most extravagant costumes in the world. And they're so detailed and they're amazing. But I don't do that. I don't mind picking a character that's very basic. I can make a closet cosplay as long as I kind of channel that character. It's weird. So I don't mind if it's not extravagant at all, but if I'm doing a photo shoot, I want to represent that character as best as I can. Because whether or not it's like got bells and whistles on it, I just want it to be really accurate. So I think there's definitely different styles of cosplayers for sure that I've seen. A lot of people love to do it just to socially interact with people. Some people, all they do all day is photo shoot. Just all day they do it. And they're very meticulous about all the details on it. And some people I know, they kind of capture the essence of the character, but make their own personal alterations to it. So accuracy isn't key, but as long as you kind of embody the character itself, it's all good. So I mean, there's no real rule to how to represent a character. But for me anyway, I really like to try and be like whatever I'm doing. So like even with Vincent Valentine, I mean it's nice. I like cosplays that cover my face because you'll never get a bad picture. Because I'll get pictures but if something's covered, it's always good. So I mean, even the photographers. I think photographers are very underrated in the cosplay community because all we see is, people with cosplays and they have, hundreds of thousands of followers, and their photographers are sitting there with, 2,000, 3,000, even in the hundreds, and they take friggin' amazing pictures, and we are nothing without a good photographers. And I think they're probably one of the most important things when it comes to showing us very well, because I can take all the selfies I want all day. There's no real sense of I don't feel a connection with the picture when I see it if I just take it myself. But when you get a really good photographer who's doing the lighting and the gel lights and all that stuff, even something simple like this can be taken to some other level that I didn't even think. So there's definitely different levels to how people do it, I think.
Do you see the pressure? I know that whenever I first started going to a con, the last thing on my mind was cosplay. I just wanted to go to con.
Yeah.
And then when I got introduced to cosplay itself, I was like, well, the next con I'll go to, I'll cosplay. Mm-hmm. It was almost like pressure.
A little bit.
Because it's like, oh, you're not a true fan of anime if you don't cosplay type scenario.
Yep.
And you get, even if it's not told to you, you get that pressure of why aren't you in cosplay? And
you're living my life right now. We've been through the exact same thing. You're preaching.
And I literally said to myself, I said, okay, I will do a character.
Yep.
And the first thing I did was I went to Kmart the day of the con.
Yes.
And grabbed a pair of scissors, grabbed some red dye, and splattered the crap out of it. It was an orange lady shirt,
nice,
a white male shirt, and blue sweatpants. Can you guess who it was? And you gotta think, my hair was still long like this.
I don't want to say Princess Dagger from Final Fantasy IX, but that's the only thing that's going in my head.
I was actually Kurama during the whole demon battle. Yes! And I was like, oh, if I shred this thing, who wants a nice outfit when I can shred the crap out of it?
Which version were you again?
I was the version where he got the crap beat out of him in the demon battle. Yeah.
Nice.
And people recognized
That's a good first
me.
costume. I like that.
And I tore the crap out of it.
Nice.
And I was like, so many people go and get a white shirt and style their hair black, this, that, and the other, and do L.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the pressure that seems to exude out of the convention itself to say you were amongst all these, and you see all these that sort of don't know that they can.
Yes.
So what do you say to those guys that think that they can't get the pressure? So what do you say to them?
That was me. The first convention I went to, actually no, the second one I went to, no one talks to you if you're not in cosplay. And that's one of the things that I found out really quickly. And you know, when you're at a convention, I feel if you're not cosplaying, you kind of want to be on the outside, kind of, you don't want to talk to people, you don't want to get involved, which is cool because not everyone wants to do cosplay. But I think when you make that transition from just, you know, a spectator into cosplay, that opens up a whole new door. And for those people, I just say, fucking do it, just do it. And I think for something like this, you have to go in head first. There's no real little, like you said, you went the day of and you just busted it out. You just made something that day. And that's awesome because that just shows like how much you want to be a part of something. And it's hard to describe a feeling. I know exactly what you went through. I would always say try it once because it was on my bucket list after I went to that convention. Just try it once and that's it. At least you can say you've done it once and then leave it at that, because I thought I was going to do it once and that was going to be the end of it. But then after that, you're like, holy crap, I can't just do this once. Because it's addicting. And even if it's addicting. And even like a closet costume is just the best feeling ever. You don't need anything like I said, extravagant or anything like that. Just something simple. Just, you know.